Welcome to Roots, Routes and Voices, Stories That Shape America. I'm Clara Matonodze, your co-host and creator of the series. Every person you'll meet in this podcast has roots somewhere. A place, a language, a table they grew up at. And at some point, they chose a different route. To live, to stay, to begin again in America. What happened along that route shaped everything. And what they built when they arrived, whether it was a business, a community, lifestyles that didn't exist before they got here, that became their voice in this country. Those roots, those routes, those voices, this is what this podcast is made of.
And I'm Brian Wright, Executive Director of Cincinnati Compass and your co-host. A quick note before we begin. The views and stories shared here are those of our guests and do not reflect those of Cincinnati Compass. We believe every voice has a place, especially when it shapes the future of our cities. We would also like to thank our hosts and sponsors who made Season 2 possible, thanks to the Marketer Collaborative and the Greater Cincinnati Foundation.
Let's get into it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Roots, Routes, and Voices, Stories That Shape America, a Cincinnati Compass podcast. I'm your host and creator of the series, Clara Matonodze.
And I'm Brian Wright, Executive Director of Cincinnati Compass, and your co-host. Before we dive in, the views and stories shared here are those of our guests and do not necessarily reflect those of Cincinnati Compass. We believe every voice has a place, especially when it shapes the future of our cities.
So, Brian, I have a question for you today before we introduce our guest.
Go ahead.
So, if you had one thing that holds community together, everything else is in flux. You know, when you are in a new country, you don't have your people around you. The language is different. The food is different. What would you say that thing is?
I'd say it's the thing you carry that nobody can take away from you. A practice, a belief, a way of being, something you keep doing even when nothing else makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, that absolutely makes sense. And so today's guest has been doing that for over 30 years. She carried an art form from India to Ohio and then planted it here so that others could carry it too.
Padma Chebrolu arrived in Cincinnati in the early 1990s as a graduate student. She stayed, and while she was building a global career at Procter and Gamble, she was also building the Cultural Center of India, teaching classical Indian dance, making films, educating children from preschool to university, and receiving the Ohio Governor's Award for Arts Education along the way.
That's amazing. She's also a master of Bharata Natyam, or I think I'm just going to call it classical Indian dance, because these are some words that I cannot pronounce. But anyway, and several other classical styles. She was the first woman in her family to pursue higher education, and she started dancing at age 3. I mean, Brian.
3 years old?
Imagine that, 3. It's like I was still figuring out how to walk without falling right at 3. So Padma was already mastering an art form. So that tells you something about who we are talking with today.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it, people. So Padma, welcome to Roots, Routes, and Voices, Stories That Shape America. Let's start right at the beginning.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Namaste. Thank you for everyone for bringing me here. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So let's start it right at the beginning. If we pressed pause on a regular day in your childhood in India, what would we see, hear, and smell around you?
What a beautiful question, and it brings back so many beautiful memories. So I was born in a city called Guntur. It's a small town. It's my ancestral town, and that's where I was born. And I was there until I was about 80 years old. And I remember there was a big, huge neem tree, probably 50 or 100 years old neem tree in front of our house. So, it was a dead-end street. So all the kids, we would play under this neem tree all the time. And then we used to have these cute little three-wheelers that we, ride around the neighborhood. And we used to have these flower trees in our backyard. And we used to live close to a train station, and I could hear all these trains going by. So, all the neighbors knew me. And, it's just a beautiful, carefree time. We could go anywhere walking by ourselves as kids. And, the community are like, hey, Padma, hey, what's going on? What are you up to? So they would talk to you. They all knew each other. So it was just a fantastic time growing up the first 8 years. And I would visit my grandparents' house. It was a huge mansion. I remember there was a huge swing, and there were these cows in the backyard, and always something fresh and nice being cooked in the kitchen. And I would sneak into the kitchen and I would eat things. And all the furniture was this ancient antique furniture in the house, my grandparents' house. It's just a fantastic time for me, and I fondly remember all of those.
That is amazing. So I'm wondering, at that early age, was there a sense, because I know art is such a big, plays a big role in your life, and as we get on through the podcast, people will see just how much of a big role that was. So I'm wondering, at this early age, whether there was a sense of what art looked like in your earliest memories.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember my life not being dancing, right? So my dad joined me at a dance school in our neighborhood dance studio, I would say. It was a small room, and it was packed with kids. Because I was so young and new, I remember the first days of my dance classes, I would be all the way in the back because I have to observe and copy the sisters in front of me or brothers in front of me, and the teacher would come, we would be in long rows, and we would wear these brass bells on our ankles, and you have to have this perfect rhythm patterns and then the perfect geometry of the body. I loved that structure, and I loved that discipline, and I was like, I need to be in the front. That was always, I want to move up, that was the goal. So I'm very goal oriented, I guess, even at that age. And then whenever I was, go to the classes, they were like 2 days a week, we have to go to the classes. I would carry my dance balls in this little dance bag that my mom stitched. And then I would go to the dance classes, and people knew I was going to the dance classes. They were just tickled by me, I guess. I would be like so proud going to the dance class with my bells. And they would ask me, are you going to the dance class, Padma? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, okay, hi. So they would just, they would sit in the front verandas, and it was very casual place. So I would go, and they would see me come back, and like, did you have a good dance class? Yeah, I had a good dance class. And my dad was so thrilled that he didn't have to force me or anything. I would just go to the dance class, learn the dance, come back. And then, anytime there is music or, we were out anywhere, I would be just trying out my footwork and my mudras or hand gestures. So it just was part of me all along. Yeah. I can't remember a day that, dance is not part of me.
Yeah. Right. I can almost picture what you're describing as a child, because for years and years, I was organizing an Indian film festival and would see these little 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds coming up and dancing, between like the really beautiful hand gestures, and it was just beautiful. So I could see you in some of those kids.
You were into art and dance at the time, and it seems like your family was supportive of it as well. How was it in the community? How was art and education, was it celebrated? And then what was it part of what a successful life looked like? Was it a different path? Were you blazing your own trail? How was it talked about in the community?
Yeah, so dance and music are very much part of the DNA of Indian culture. There's dance and music for every occasion, every festival. We are a land of festivals. So dance is part of every event there is, life events also. So as soon as people knew I was learning dance, even in our schools, they would have, annual day celebration of the school, whatever. So they would be like, oh, we got to put Padma into this. So I would learn very quickly. I have that knack of learning the choreography and memorizing that choreography. And, I didn't know there is something called self-confidence. I didn't know I have to, have this personality. I'm just doing my thing. Yeah. So I would be, I didn't care whether I was in the front or the back, how many people are watching me. I was basically dancing for me, my dad, and then the universe, I guess. It's just a pleasurable thing. You put me anywhere or you give me a small role, I don't care. I'm just happy to be here, and I love it. And the culture celebrates artists a lot. Yeah. They appreciate it. It's the kind words that they use. It's the little compliments that they give or the spark in their eyes. They're like, oh, she is dancing. Yeah. So that is very special in the community. So I never thought of it as a career.
Yeah, I can see that. And you know what? One of the things that I love about what you're describing, especially when I compare to my own culture as an African, we are growing up at 3 years old. Obviously, your family has a lot more ambitions for you than just dancing. I don't know that at that age they were preparing seeds for you to be a dancer, or that was coming alongside whatever eventual career that you wanted to be. Whereas in my culture, which is Zimbabwean culture, they are specific, I wouldn't say prohibitions, but expectations, right? You're either in arts and culture, or you are traditionally in academia, right? Because every parent wants you to grow up and either maybe be a doctor, be a lawyer, those professions. And then arts are not as much celebrated when you're growing up, unless you have what people believe to be a gift from the ancestors, that you're the one who's going to carry forward the culture. And then they believe, okay, then you can concentrate maybe your younger years in different art forms. But otherwise, for most people, they don't believe there's that calling. So I don't know if you can talk about those two things and how you were growing up, and that would eventually set your passion here in Cincinnati when you finally moved in. Here you have a career that's going alongside an art form and the Cultural Center of India. And I'm curious about what those early experiences were in planting the seeds for what would be a tradition bearer in Ohio.
Yes.
Basically. Yeah.
Beautiful question, Clara. I appreciate that. So for me, I was just in my element, and that brought me a lot of joy. Art brought me a lot of joy. So as I was a performing artist in school or in the community, my teachers or, people would ask me, would you be in the theater? I didn't know what it was. I just did what I was told to do in the theater. So there was a little incident in my college. They gave me a big role in one of these. I'm supposed to be a very tall person for an Indian. So they gave me the roles of a guy. So I went to all-girls high school, all-girls college, and all of that. So halfway through, they're like, she has incredible acting talent, so we should give her the main role. So they switched me 2 days before the event. And everybody's like shocked. How is she going to do this? But I memorized everybody's lines just by being in the rehearsals. So to me, it was nothing to switch between that. I never thought of it as a career. My dad was into fine arts, performing arts appreciation. So he just rejoiced, that
what you're doing.
He just loved seeing me on the stage performing, and then people would come and talk to him about it. One time I remember my dance master or teacher took us on a tour. We would go to different villages during this festival season and do these thematic dance dramas. And I was going by myself, right, with the dance teacher and other people. And then one time I was in this small village. We went to get some lunch and getting ready for the event. And suddenly I saw my dad sitting on the stage. And that was a total surprise. We just ran and, hugged him. It was such a happy moment.
That indicated his support.
He made a point to come and see it. Even though he had a busy, work schedule, he made every attempt to support me in that way. So that led into TV and child artist in the movies. And I worked for All India Radio. I worked for Doordarshan, which is the Indian TV station that in those days. So I have done so many, performing art broadened in many different areas of it. So, once you have at least one parent supporting you in the family, doors open up.
It lessens the tension of you have to study and
and I was
doing this. What are you going to do with that tension is not there.
I was always good at studies. I have genius IQ, so that was never an issue. I would remember what happened in the school. And then, my goal was go to the school, get maximum amount of learning. So I don't spend that much time again relearning it or redoing it. So my rest of the day is for dance. So I would simplify my schoolwork so much that I have more time for my arts. And for my dad, arts came first, studies came second. For me, both are equal. Both are equal. I had that awareness for me to excel in life. It's not like I was intending or strategizing at all. It was just the thinking. I have two tracks in my mind, academics and art. They're equally high caliber.
Now, did you just say you have genius IQ?
So do my kids, yes.
Did you hear that?
That's great.
Yes, I'm sure that made it easy for you to have the two passions on equal footing.
Yeah, even if you don't have that IQ, it's just the sincerity of approaching it, the art, with the pure heart and sincerity of approaching, doing your best, competing with yourself. Those are very important. That internal motivation is super important. You don't have to be told what to do, right? So you just do it because it's
motivating you. Something is pushing you to do it.
It's not even pushing. You're just being yourself. You do you, right? That's what is happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And what I appreciate is, what I'm hearing is, and appreciate is confidence. I mean, from an early age, like you said, you didn't care if you were in the front or the back or the subject matter didn't matter. And it also helps you have that support too, to help reinforce that confidence. But it seems like that is a common thread through all of your performing arts, right? And then even academic studies as well. And that's just really just wonderful to hear. And it sounds that the performing arts, and as we know you now, was never just a hobby or a class. It was deeply woven in the fabric of your everyday life and within your family and support there. And then also in what you do now. And so I'm curious about, switching over to, and maybe it's both, and maybe it will always be both. I'm curious about this, but I'm always curious how someone ends up in Cincinnati, right? And so none of us here at this table are from Cincinnati, right? So it's always fascinating to me how people end up here and call this place home. I'm very proud to be here, and we'll be here. So, what originally brought you to Ohio? Was it studies? What? And I'm very curious what your first impressions were and how they evolved over time.
Yeah, a great question. So University of Cincinnati is a great place for international students to come from anywhere in the world. It is in the Midwest. It's very safe and high quality academics. And also the faculty, the advisors are very global minded. So I got full scholarship. I went to, one of the top education colleges in India. So you have to take the standardized test and be ranked highly to get into the top schools. That's how Indian education system works. So I was lucky enough to get into that that college, and that led to visibility to get a scholarship at University of Cincinnati. So I remember, vividly, my dad and I were sitting and looking at the book of Atlas. We didn't have internet in those days, and looking at where is Ohio, where is Cincinnati, how many N's and I's are in it, and make sure you remember how to spell it properly and how do you pronounce it. We were laughing together.
But how did you get to? What was the initial connection between the university you were with and Cincinnati? Like, did the University of Cincinnati just reach out to say, hey, like, how did that initial?
Yeah, you applied to various universities.
Okay, so you applied to various universities,
and you don't know you would get scholarship or not, and you have to think about what are the living expenses at this university, and also once you say scholarship, it's huge competition there, right? So I didn't want to go to East Coast, West Coast because the living expenses are very big, and safety.
So you're
also.
looking for universities specifically in the Midwest. Because I have a memory of looking at college brochures. That was my thing. And I can't remember how I got hold of U.S. college brochures, but I remember looking at a lot of U.S. colleges and brochures that would come home. And that kind of helped make my decision on.
Yes.
So you already knew that you wanted to study outside of India. And it sounds like, and also the U.S. Were you looking at other countries as well, or was it specifically the U.S., Midwest, and then make your decision there?
I was looking at only U.S. because that was the thing to do. I don't know how my parents sent me. It's a bit scary, right? Sending the child 9,000 miles away on the other side of the planet, and it happened.
I know, right?
And what did you study?
So at the University of Cincinnati, I did Master's in Education, Instructional Design and Technology. It's basically tech for educational tech, IT, basically for education in those days. How do you teach students, leveraging technology and IT?
Okay, wonderful. So now that you're in Cincinnati, you're at the University of Cincinnati, what was your relationship to dance once you started living in the U.S.?
There is no relationship. Dance and me are the same. There's no relationship needed. It's in my DNA. It's my oxygen. And I dance, and there's nothing to it. That's just part of my lifestyle or my life. So, I used to have a password in olden days. Dance is oxygen. So kind of a thing, Now that we have to put all the special characters, I don't have that anymore. But dance is oxygen kind of a thing that was going on. And, I would practice dance even between the classes. I would find an empty classroom, and I would have my little tape recorder, and I would play the music, and I would dance and rehearse, and then go to the next class. Nice. So that was in between. It's always on with dance.
Was the community, because I know now Cincinnati is very vibrant, and there's a lot of Indian dance schools all over the place. But what was it like back then? Did you find community at the time, or you had to create something?
So my goal was, my dad used to work for Indian IRS, and we used to transfer every 3 years, So every 3 years I had to find a new school and all of that, new friends. So my dad used to have two things. One, we had to find a house to rent. And then the second one is we had to find a dance teacher for Padma. Those are his two goals going into the next transfer. So I was always had another teacher waiting for me to be his student or her student. So when I came to UC, I was looking for a teacher. I was never in my mind, I'm going to be a teacher, no plans. So this is no strategy here, just life happened. So I met with Jeff James. At that time, she was artistic director of contemporary dance theater, which was right next to UC campus. So I went and met with her, and I said, Jeff, do you know any dance teachers? Because I need to start the classes again. She was laughing. She's like, no. First of all,
not in Cincinnati.
You already know so much because you learned all your life.
Oh, yeah.
And then, don't you try to learn our dance styles, because, there are very few people who know your dance styles, because we have plenty of other people who know dance styles already here. Don't do that. I was like, I have to know, if there are no dance teacher, Indian dance teachers, I have to learn your jazz, ballet. She's like, don't. So I was in my mind, I was always in the learning mode, performing mode. I was never a teaching artist in my case. So I'm like, okay. And then there was always an Indian club at the University of Cincinnati, and they would do some kind of events, and they would include me in always their performances. Like, Padma is going to start our show, the first dance, she's going to start our show. Everybody was very proud that I'm bringing this authentic art form, and the word spread, and students were asking, and the families were asking. They saw the quality of the dance I was presenting and the depth it had, so they would reach out to me to take classes. That's how it started. And then I had to name this something, because I was doing a lot of performances and teaching. So I said, I'm not just a dancer. Dance involves 100% of all art forms together. It's a cultural experience. So that's how I started Cultural Center of India, so I could call ourselves something.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah.
Was it then, this might be getting ahead, so when did you start the Cultural Center of India?
Around 1994, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was this after had you started your professional career at Procter and Gamble, or
just a little bit?
It sounds like what you're talking about is the seeds that you're planting. Like you had your instructor saying, no, you're well advanced for this, and so it sounds like you were planting the seeds there. But so it started in 94.
Yeah, 94 and 95, and I started my career with P&G. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. And I really like that. Her instructor was telling her, like, you're not going to find a teacher here who can teach you because you're so well advanced. Because normally you hear a lot of, say, international students when they come over with gifts, right? I think now it's different, but back then it's been like when I came to the US, it was a lot of forget about everything that you ever did, right? And take up now what the US has given, is offering, which is great and good, but there just was not that intention to say, you have this whole history of something that you've been doing, where you're coming from. Don't lose that, but use it, in order to improve the local community. So, which sounds like what is the encouragement that you had.
Yes.
It's so much better too.
It is so much better.
Please share the gifts, and so I mean,
exactly.
The way that sharing the gifts is, sharing culture, building community. And I just feel like that's a much better approach, where everyone learns and benefits, and you build community through the work that you're doing at the Cultural Center of India, right?
Yeah. So I wonder if, in that spirit, whether you ever felt like an artistic, whether you ever felt pressure between your artistic identity and your professional work.
Never. I have.
You also at P&G, which is quite advanced in terms of accepting cultures. Well,
I always had the clarity of mind. It's just, universe gave me that, I guess. What I want to be, how I want to be, and I'm being true to myself. I'm very comfortable. What I'm wearing right now, I'm very comfortable in a formal business suit. I'm very comfortable being a tech and finance executive or leader in the business area too. I'm very comfortable being an artist. I think, there's no conflict. There's no discrepancy between these two roles. The creativity, the discipline, the attention to the details, the strategizing, it comes in both areas. The foundational skills are applicable to arts or business. It's the same skill set that you need to have. I think, one person can be, multiple things. There's no limit to it. Yeah. So, I can do theater, I can do poetry, I can make movies, I can do stand-up comedy, and I can do art. we have so many gifts within us. I think we should not limit ourselves. We should explore all aspects of your being, and that's very important. You don't need to be told. No need to be motivated. It's all in there. Just bring it out. Yeah.
I love that you share that. So often we just think in these kind of dichotomous ways of or even separate, where corporate tech ideas and thoughts is over here, and then art and culture is over here. But I love how the way you're talking about it, like, no, they can exist simultaneously, and there's overlapping skills. I think that's a really, really important.
It is really important. I can tell you, for someone who's in business, I'm always, I feel I've always had pushback in people want to be able to identify exactly who you are and what you do. So I feel like a lot of times when you're in business over here and then you're like, oh, but I'm also doing this art thing over here, people tend to look at that and feel like, well, then who are you, or what are you doing? It's like, choose one or the other. And personally, I've always resisted that, but it's something that I feel, and I don't know whether this is just Cincinnati or it's community at large. It's like trying to force you to make a choice. Is it art or is it business?
Yes. I think those are very limiting beliefs.
Yeah, and, they are, seriously.
We shouldn't have those limiting beliefs. And while, that is a human being with one note. Human beings can be a symphony, right?
Yeah.
We shouldn't tell ourselves that. We shouldn't tell others that. That is a mistake we are making. We are full of talents, and we need to let those talents out of ourselves. I don't care what other people think of me. I know who I am. And I have friends who love the way I am. They say, how can you be like, hey, you like me? Fine. You don't like me? That is fine too. But I want everybody to like me, right? So, I want to have a beautiful life. I want to have a rich life. Who can make that happen? Myself. Nobody others can make that happen, right? And I'm not doing this anything, purposefully, intentionally. It's just the way I am. So, I go to work, during the work hours. And then, both my children are my students. They were part of my dance company growing up. And they were raised in this art culture. They loved it. So they have won scholarships with dance and arts. And, for me, all day, you go to school or you go to work and you come home, music, dance, poetry, paintings. It's just beautiful, happy home, happy childhood, happy life. So that enriches you, and it gives you more physical and mental energy to do your corporate job or to do other things. So you can have it all. I don't know why people limit themselves or tell other people to limit themselves.
Yeah.
And you're talking about health and well-being and purpose, community, and that is all encompassed in what you're doing with the Culture Center of India. And I think we want to go deeper into that work, but we're getting close to take a break. But one kind of question before the break to ask is, you've talked about, I love how you're talking about humans can be a symphony. And you've talked about a rich and an enriching life. And you talk about it very matter-of-factly with the confidence, and this is just how it is. And you talked about teaching. I'm curious about what advice, or also mentorship, because you've moved into this role as a teacher, as an instructor, but as a mentor. And how does that role help you go deeper and wider in your own art form rather than trying to do everything, right? Like, how does that mentorship role shape you in the work that you do?
Yeah, I had great mentors, right? So my school teachers, my dance teachers, not everybody, is going to do that for you. They might just teach you a subject. But the universe sends you right people if you have that I don't know, that passion or sincerity or that drive. These are big words. I was just being myself, right? So the universe sends you those right people at the right moment. Even now, there are certain people who, certain phone calls or certain emails come your way. You're like, where did this come from? Because, there is something happening here. So, I don't mentor anyone. I'm just myself. I say, in a very objective way and in a very logical way. I taught 7 years Xavier University MBA and Executive MBA classes. They're one of their mandatory courses, strategic IT or digital leadership. So, many executives from different companies come and learn from there. So they don't know what to do with me in the first class. They're like, what is she? Who is she? They're trying to place me in some place. I don't fit into any spot.
Yeah,
I know I'm crazy since the day one. I knew that. So they're trying to size me up. It's not possible. I'm just like, all over the place. But I have that clarity. I can teach you this. So I'm just being myself. And if other people think that it's mentorship, that's great. And if they ask me a question, I would give you a solution. I would just uplift you in the way. I'm not trying to uplift you. I'm just being just another human being. That's about it. So the empathy is very important. I think that is one of my strengths. So people see that you care about people, others. People see that I care about, what's happening around me, not just to me.
Right. Yeah, that is a special gift, Padma, being able to live in all those different places at once. It's a challenge, but I think you have done it beautifully. Are we going to break?
I think so. Let's take a pause here, and then when we come back, let's talk more about the Cultural Center of India and help introduce those that may not know about it, what it is, and we'll dive deeper into that.
All right. A word from our studio home this season. Roots, Roots and Voices records at the Marketer Collaborative at 15 East 14th Street in Cincinnati. It's a space built for people who believe that creative work and meaningful work belong in the same room. We do too. Schedule your tour at themarketercollab.com. Welcome back to Roots, Roots and Voices, Stories That Shape America. We are sitting today with Padma Chebrolu from India and talking about her life in Cincinnati and also the Cultural Center of India that she has established. We'll talk a little bit more here into it. But we have just been talking about the duality of her story and just the contradictions that come with that or not, depending on how you would take it. So, Padma, let's take it back to the Cultural Center of India. This is an institute that you founded. I know you've won many awards because of it, including the Heritage Fellowship, the Governor's Award, and obviously these awards mean a lot to you. Also, I want to be able to understand between those awards and the reason why you do what you do. We talked about your life in corporate America alongside the art form, the dance, or everything that you do is just being part of you. You're doing it because this is who you are. So tell us a little bit more about what the Cultural Center of India is and beyond just, it's the dance school.
Cultural Center of India brings all the cultural heritage art forms, and it's a educational institute. We go into the community. Right now we are doing like 70 different events a year.
70 different events.
70, yes.
Wow.
So
are there 52 weeks in a year?
So every minute I have, I retired from P&G. Now I'm working for another tech company with my finance and tech expertise. So every minute that I have outside of work, that's what I've done with my children also growing up and with the family. So every minute I have is dedicated to art. It's not like I'm doing extra work. I'm special in any way. That's just what I do. And that just brings me joy. And, those two tracks are always going on in my head. You probably hear this, that, I have, I'm choreographing dancers to, right now to mixed weddings, right? Art opens up so many doors, so many hearts, I should say, not even doors. It opens up so many hearts. And people just, when they see the heritage art forms, they just melt.
Yeah.
Everything, all inhibitions, all their biases, they just go out into the, out of the window, right? Immediately, they feel the joy in it. They feel the blissfulness in it. They embrace these arts. So we are, as you said, we offer more than 45 programs right now. It's for well-being, mindfulness, all ages, all backgrounds. Every time people come, they say, I'm smiling, I don't know why. So, they just come with no expectations or biases. When they leave, they are uplifted. They are just joyful. So this weekend we did 4 events. So it's just like a marathon that happens, but to me, it's just like, whoa, this is such a great opportunity. So, I'm so blessed to able to do this. And I'm very thankful to Greater Cincinnati community, all the organizations, the state of Ohio Arts Council for recognizing what I love to do.
Yeah. Where's the Cultural Center of India?
So we are located in Montgomery right now, and we are establishing a bigger center in Lebanon, so we can offer more eco-friendly, nature-oriented, because that is something, the growing population, the seniors, the mental health issues. So we want hundreds of people to come to our center. So we are expanding quite a bit.
That's awesome.
That's so great. And I think it's, you mentioned the 70 events. That's such a gift to the community, right? To the broader community. And, we were very thankful. Padma and a group from the Cultural Center of India performed at the Cincinnati Compass annual event. And it was just to see that, the smile, the joy that was brought there. And, people got to see themselves. It becomes a home, right? It seems a place where people can see themselves reflected in the ideas and the art, but also it's a way of community building. Like people from all over the world and even from here in Cincinnati that grew up in Cincinnati were able to participate in an interactive Bollywood dance. And so it just built community in a way. I think that's really a special gift that you bring to the region.
Amazing. Yeah, amazing. So is the Cultural Center of India also part of not part of, but is Passage of the River an initiative of the Cultural Center of India? Can you tell us more about that?
Yes.
Passage of the River.
Yes, I've been in the movies, behind the scenes, in front of the scenes in the movie industry growing up, or TV series that I have done in India. So, and over the years, I have created and launched music CDs, also dance DVDs or dance films. I've done quite a bit of those works. I was part of many documentaries. So I wanted to create a movie. So I wrote the movie, and I'm very fascinated with the history of Greater Ohio communities. I'm very inspired by the Native American culture or indigenous culture, their history, their spirituality. I feel like, I was one of those people, in my life, previous lives. So I feel very close to this. So I wrote a story that brings Native American culture and my Indian culture together in the context of current day living Cincinnati, near the Ohio River. So I produced and directed this movie, and it won more than, I think we are at the count of 53 awards, international awards from 18 different countries. And now we are planning to do a sequel movie because it was so successful, and it was supported by Ohio Arts Council. So we are looking forward to creating the sequel movie and releasing it.
Wow, that is such an amazing accomplishment, Padma.
That's great.
Congratulations on that. Wow. So the film has traveled to all these different festivals and awards in 18 countries. What has stayed with you the most?
I think the storytelling is has to be powerful and it would resonate with anybody, everybody. So the story is all about environment, sustainability, and going back to your roots. Finding your heritage and telling it in a beautiful storytelling way with music, photography, and dancing, and involving Native American actors, local, artists who are, they're not professional artists, but they want to be part of this project. So it came together so beautifully, and it's appreciated and resonated because everybody's worried about keeping the rivers clean and also, planting more trees. I won the Midwest Sustainability Leadership Award, which I never expected. But this is all about planting lots of trees around the U.S., so which we do.
Yeah. How, so the film, if someone wants to see it, where would we watch? Where would we watch it? Because
that's what I'm wondering. Yes,
the film is available, and the behind-the-scenes footage is available. The trailer is all available on YouTube. I made it available for free to the community because, what I produce is not commercial oriented. My thing is, a beautiful story should be available for everybody, and this is a unique, very unique story. And if it is appreciated and it resonates with the people from all around the world, it should be available. So go to YouTube, Passage of the River.
And we'll make sure in the liner notes, right? And
we'll put it.
Put it in on available. We'll make sure that we'll have the website available for people to see and find you. Well, unfortunately, we're getting close to the end, so we're just very thankful for you to join us today and share your time and share the work that you do. We look forward to seeing you out in the community and invite others who are listening to get involved. And thinking about the work you're doing now and the Cultural Center of India, the films, your consulting work now as you move into a retirement phase after P&G, which doesn't really sound like retirement at all.
I do not think that retirement is in Padma's future.
I don't think so either. But where do you see this carrying you forward and carrying the region forward in 10, 15 years? Where would you like it to be?
I always feel like I'm just getting started,
Yes, I know. Yep.
So there's so much more to do. These ideas are nonstop. These projects are nonstop in my head. And I'm all about bringing these thoughts and ideas into something tangible and make it available to the community. So I have long ways to go here.
Yeah, I'm always really fascinated with the idea of home because this is really one of the reasons why we are doing this podcast, Roots, Routes, and Voices. It's about how people grow up, where they come from, the routes they're taking to come to America, and the voices that have emerged now that they're living in America and have adopted an American city as their home. And obviously, you have done that beautifully in Cincinnati. It's a voice that has really come and emerged and contributed a lot to the city. So when you use the word home today, what comes to mind for you? What would you tell, say, a young immigrant artist who comes to you and is unsure? What would you want them to hear about this word home and what it means?
Home is where you have friends. Home is where the community embraces you and accepts you the way you are. To me, Cincinnati is that. Ohio is that. Greater Cincinnati community is that. For others, I don't like to preach or, say you do this. I just want to say, don't limit yourself. Be yourself. People love you. Why not?
Yeah, and that is advice we hear all the time. Just be yourself. Don't limit yourself. It sounds so cliche, but it means a lot when you think about it. Right.
But it's so powerful. Walk in authenticity. Be yourself.
Yeah.
Welcome someone as they are. That's great.
Yes. All right. Do we have time for the lightning round?
Let's go.
Yeah. All right. A mentor, and the lightning round, these are just like very quick. What comes to your mind? A mentor or guru who changed everything for you?
I would say two mentors at the University of Cincinnati, Dr. Piyush Swami. Thank you, Dr. Swami. And also Dr. Boren. She told me, Padma, you're in U.S., you have options. I was like, I have options?
Yes.
So that's the first time they both were truly inspiring people and changed my life.
Awesome. One thing about classical Indian dance that words can't explain, but the body knows.
Everything else does not matter. You are in a state of joy.
Oh, I love that.
That's great.
Everything else doesn't matter, just in a state of joy. That is so true. Okay, and what does home mean to you now?
Home is where you feel relaxed and peaceful and just be yourself.
Yes.
Awesome. Anything that we did not talk about today, Padma, that you would love to talk about?
I want to thank Brian and Clara here. You guys are awesome. I love, the mission of Cincinnati Compass. I love the vision of this podcast.
Yeah.
I wish you both, a lot of success in this. I think you both are doing incredible work here, and I truly appreciate you both.
Thank you so much, Padma.
That means so much.
Yes, it does indeed.
Well, thank you for being here with us today and embarking on this journey, this conversation with us. And thank you for the gift of your time and the gifts that you provide to the community. So we're going to have to wrap it up today. We hope to see you soon. And please, for those of you listening, check the notes and we'll have links to all of the events and the work that Padma is doing. And we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, make sure to follow her on social media.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for listening today. The voice you heard in this episode is one of thousands in this region. People whose roots run deep somewhere else and whose routes brought them here to this country. We are grateful they led us into their story.
If today's conversation stayed with you, share it. Pass it to someone who needs to hear it. Leave a review. And if you carry a story of your own roots, your own routes, we want to hear from you. Reach out through CincinnatiCompass.org.
You can find Roots, Routes, and Voices on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you listen. New episodes are rolling out now. Season 2 is made possible with the support of the Marketer Collaborative and the Greater Cincinnati Foundation. We are grateful for both partnerships.
Cincinnati Compass connects people to opportunity and builds a more inclusive region. Learn more at CincinnatiCompass.org. Until next time.
Keep telling your story.